Welcome, dear learners. I hope all of you are doing well. Today, in this session on this topic, hands on experiences on ANOVA, that is two-way ANOVA, I welcome you all wholeheartedly on the Swayam platform of the course Advanced Statistics in Education. So, here in the last lecture, we have discussed about hands on experiences of one-way ANOVA. So, today we will be having a discussion with respect to how to perform the step-by-step performance of ANOVA, how to do it using SPSS. Okay. So here, before moving into the step-by-step process of conducting two-way ANOVA through SPSS, I have taken certain introductory remarks in which I would like to say that two-way ANOVA is used when we are studying the effect of two independent variables simultaneously in one dependent variable. So there are two dependent variable and there are there are two independent variables and simultaneously one dependent variable. See, for example, if you want to study the teaching methods, that is lecture versus the activity method, which is considered as the independent variable, and also gender, that is another independent variable, on the achievement of the student, that is the dependent variable. So here there are two independent variable and there is one dependent variable. So we are checking which method of teaching, that means the lecture method or activity method, whether it is having a significant impact on the students' achievement, also whether gender is playing a significant role in the students' achievement as a factor. That is also we can conduct as an example with respect to two-way ANOVA. So here independent variables are the teaching methods and the gender, and the dependent variable is the achievement score. By this particular example, we will be conducting the step-by-step performance of ANOVA using certain two-way ANOVA using certain screenshots. So here, what is two-way ANOVA explaining, or what is that two-way ANOVA telling you? Does teaching method affect the scores? That is a one description that ANOVA, two-way ANOVA is telling, that is, does teaching method affect the scores? That means, does the lecture method versus the activity method is affecting the scores, or does gender affect the scores? That is, the male or female performance is also affecting the scores. So here, is there an interaction between the gender and also the method of teaching? That is also given. That means the interaction effect of the both dependent variable is also given by two-way ANOVA. See, for example, males learn better with one method and females with another method. That kind of interaction effect is also given by two-way ANOVA over here. So now let's see, especially when we are moving on to the two-way ANOVA, let's see, when we are opening the SPSS software asset, it will be in the data view, we are giving certain description. See, for example, I have selected here almost 24 samples, okay? 24 samples. And in variable 1, I have given variable 1 is the lecture method. In the column, you can see that from 1 to 12. That means still here, it is the lecture method, and from 13 to 24, here there is 24 also, that is through the activity method. Okay, so here there are lecture method and also the activity method, and among them there is the crossing of both males and females in the lecture method. A few males are taught through lecture method, females are taught through lecture method, males are taught through activity method, and females are also taught through activity method, which can be said that it is a completely crossed design. We can say that it is a completely crossed design in which all levels of teaching method cross all type of gender, isn't it? That means males are going through lecture method and also activity method, and females are also moving through lecture method and also the activity method. So that means we can say that there is a complete crossing of a design. That means completely crossed design which we could find over here. And here I have given the scores. That means this is the achievement scores of the students. That means this will be the scores of the males, this will be that of the females, again males and also the females who have gone through the lecture method and also the activity method. So that means here variable 1, variable 2 and the variable 3, like you have been given the scores for the total 24 sample. And now in the column number 1 we have given the method of teaching, and column number 2, that is the gender, and column number 3 we have given their scores. Here when you are going to variable view, variable 1 is that of the teaching method and variable 2 we have given the gender, and in the third column you have given the score. So what is this indicating? When you are giving the values over here, when you are giving the labeling over here, that is teaching method, gender, and also you are giving the score over here. When we move on to the next, that is the data view. Once you are going the data view, you will be going for the, now we are going to conduct the particular test, that is you are going to analyze the two-way ANOVA using SPSS. So here once we go to analyze, the drop down window will arise over here. This drop down window will arise over here. In this you are selecting the general linear model. So here you are selecting the general linear model. Here you can see there is general linear model and you are selecting the general linear model. So then the box will arise which is having univariate, multivariate and repeated measures, and from this you are selecting the univariate. That means from here general linear model we are selecting the univariate. You have univariate, multivariate and also the repeated measures ANOVA, and here you will be selecting about the univariate ANOVA. We know that multivariate ANOVA and repeated measures ANOVA, what are those and how, in which condition we are using it, we have already discussed it in the session ANOVA and its types. So here we are looking for only the two-way ANOVA model. With the help of general linear model we will be going to the univariate, and once you click the univariate, this kind of univariate window will arise over there. So here the teaching methods, the gender and the score, that is on this left side, and now we have to take it into these two, dependent variable and also in the fixed factors. We have to take that, we have to move this, and once we move this, the score we have taken to the dependent variable, and the fixed factors, that is the teaching methods and the gender, we have taken to this particular column, that is the fixed factors. That means score we will be selecting and clicking over here, it will be moving on to the dependent variable, and the factor variables, that is the teaching methods and also gender, we will be selecting both, clicking this arrow marks, and we will be taking to the fixed factors. That means the window will arise like this: score, teaching methods and also the gender. Now after this we will be going for the options. You can click the option button, and once you click the options, then the window will arise, that is univariate options. So here once the univariate options is arising, then now we have to take the factors into the display means for section. So here we are taking into the display means for section, that is variable 1, that is our method of teaching and also the gender, and this one is the variable 1 versus variable 2, that is the interaction effect. So these three we are taking into this section, that is display means for. And also you can select descriptive statistics, estimates of the effect size, and along with that you can also go through the homogeneity test. That means you can go through the homogeneity test, you can select what else you want, you can select from this display section. So here, so for the time being I have selected, first I have taken these three into this section, and I have selected descriptive statistics, estimates of the effect size and also the homogeneity of the test, and the significance level, that is 0.05, 95% confidence interval I have selected, and then you can click the continue button, and once you click that, again you will arise in the univariate window, and from here now I will select for the, yes, plots. We can select for the plots, and when we select the plots, the window will arise like this, that is univariate profile plots. So plots also will be giving you certain interpretation. That means the parallel plots, non-parallel plots, that is also giving you the crossing of the plots, also will be giving you certain interpretation. So usually not necessarily, but you can go for the plots also. So here I have gone for the plots, and once I go for the plot, it will arise like this, that is the teaching methods and also the gender over here. So here once the teaching methods and the gender arise, I have taken one into the horizontal axis and the other one into the separate lines. So here once I select over here and click add button, it will arise over here the plots, variable 1 and also the variable 2. That is the procedure. It may be not clear in this, but usually it is done like this. I will select one over here and the other one into separate lines and then click add, then this plot sorry, the plot will be arising over here. You can click the continue button. So once you click the continue button, you will be arising into again to that particular window, that is the univariate. So here now we have went for the options. Okay, you went for the options and you have given the statistics and also the variables you have taken into the different groups, and also we have gone for the plots, so that the plot representation also will be there, the diagrammatic representation, and then you have to click the OK button. So that is the usual step. So I think it's not complicated. Just brush up once more. Once you are going into the analyze, you have to go to the general linear model, then you have to click the univariate, and then you have to select the teaching methods and gender and the score. Teaching methods you will be selecting, score you will be selecting to the dependent variable, teaching methods and the gender to the fixed factors, and next you have to go for the options, and in the options you have to select all the three to the display means. Along with that you are choosing the descriptive statistics, estimated effect size, homogeneity test, and you are setting up the level of confidence interval, and you are going for the plots. In the plots also on horizontal axis you want which variable, that is whether it is the gender or whether it is the method of teaching, you are selecting it, and then you are going for the continue, and now you are clicking OK. And after that, this will be the usually the form of the result that you are getting as far as two-way ANOVA is concerned. So let's go for an analysis of this particular result. So here between subject factors, we know that there were 24, and teaching method, 12 were taught through the activity method and 12 were taught through the lecture method. Females were also 12 and also males were also 12. And now when we are moving on to the descriptive statistics, you have the dependent variable, that is the score, which is being mentioned over here. Dependent variable is the score, and you have teaching method, that is activity method and also the lecture method, and gender you have male and also female. And now let's see into the mean of this, that is 33.66 is the mean value of the females who have taught through activity method, and 44.16 is the mean of the male who have taught through activity method. You have the standard deviation, that is 4.41 of the females taught through activity method and 4.40 of the males who have taught through using activity method. So here in this activity method, it is total 12, 6 plus 6. Now moving on to the lecture method, we have the females whose mean value is 31.66 and also male, that is 30.66. Here we could find only marginal differences between the means, and the standard deviation you have 5.71 with respect to that of the females taught through lecture method and 5.08 with respect to that of the males who have taught through lecture method. Here also it is 6 plus 6, which makes a total of 12. Here now we have the total of the mean value, standard deviation and also the n, and everything is correct. So here from the descriptive statistics, it is very easy for you to identify that whether you have made any mistake in the scoring because n value is clearly depicted over here, which whether you missed out any particular candidate or individual or any student or the score of any student, whether you have not given it in a proper way, that can be depicted through this descriptive statistics. Now there is Levin's test of equality of variances. So here we know that Levin's test of equality of variances should not be significant. If that is the criteria, it should not be significant. Now let's see whether our Levin's test of equality of error variances is significant or not. So here we have a value of 0.661, which is greater than that of 0.05, hence it is not significant. Which indicates that we can further proceed for our statistical analysis, and the F value is 0.540 over here, degrees of freedom 1 is 3 and DF2 is 20. So this is the general description which we got from the between subject factors, the descriptive statistics, and also the Levin's test of equality of error variances. I hope it is clear. And below this, what are the other descriptive interpretation that would make out from the result? Here we have test of between subjects effects, which is the main part of this particular test. That means test of between subjects effects. Now let's see what are those tests of between subject effects. Here we could see that, just analyze this particular section. We are going to very carefully analyze this particular section. Okay, here we can see that the method of teaching and also the gender, whether there is a significant difference on the test scores, that is 0.01, sorry 0.001, isn't it, which is less than that of 0.05, isn't it, which is less than that of 0.05, which is indicating that the teaching method is making a significant impact on the test score, that this particular value, this significance value, and the F value is 15.120 over here, isn't it? So this particular value is giving this particular result, that is, here we can find that a significant difference, a significant value is being existing. So that is why we can find out the teaching methods as having a significant impact on the test scores of the students. Also, with respect to that of the gender, it is 0.03, isn't it, which is slightly, we can say that, less than that of the 0.05. Gender is also affecting the test scores, making an impact on the test scores. That means whether males or the females or the boys or the girls may be highly performing with respect to that of the test scores in which you have made the achievement test. And also the interaction effect, let's see that this is the interaction effect. Once we are considering the interaction effect also, 0.09. So 0.009. So once it is 0.009, that is also considered as less than 0.05. So there is significant interaction effect also. That means the interaction effect of both the gender and also the teaching method on the test scores is also visible. Interaction effect is also visible with respect to that of the test score. So this is what we could analyze from this test of between subject effects. So again, I am telling we have to consider these three, that is the teaching methods, the gender, and also the interaction effect over here, and these values are more important for us. I hope it is clear. We will move on to the next slide. Here also the estimated marginal means are also found over here, where you could analyze the means, that is activity, it is 38.917 and 31.083. That means activity method is making a better score compared to that of the lecture method, and females and also males have been performed better over here. And here when we are considering with that of the teaching method with gender, that is the interaction effect, we can see that females who are gone through the activity method, their mean score is higher, and males who have gone through the activity method have scored better than that of the females who have gone through the activity method. And there is not that much major differences between that of the lecture method between the males and the females. So that is the estimated marginal means that we could analyze from this particular result of SPSS. Now, when we are going for to the profile plots, that is the estimated marginal means of the score, here we can say that the females F, it is indicated with that of the blue line, and here males, that is indicated with that of the green line. So that means it is indicating that the line should not be parallel. Interaction effect, the line should not be parallel. If it is not parallel, it indicates that there is a significant impact. Also, we can see that over here, that means this is the teaching method and the green line is the male. That means we can say that males who have performed going through the activity method, we can see like this. Males who have gone through the activity method, they have performed far better, isn't it? That is also we can gain through over here. That is we can see that means the activity method, the mean value is 38.917, and when we are considering the mean value with that of the activity method over here, the mean value is 44.167. that is again given by the estimated means of score. That means the males who have gone through the activity method, they have performed far better compared to that of the others. So this is the general description which with respect to two-way ANOVA that I have given you the step-by-step description. So I hope it is clear to you. Now we will look into certain points to consider while doing two-way ANOVA in SPSS. So here we can say that you have to check the variable requirements. That is very much important. You have to check the variable requirements. That means the dependent variable, whether it is in the continuous or in the that is in the interval or in the ratio scale. Apart from that, you can also look onto the independent variables. That means two categorical factors, example gender and also the teaching method which we have used over here, and each with two or more levels, isn't it? You can include more teaching method, you can include a third gender also over there. So that means it should have a minimum of two, and better more levels can also be included. So here it ensure that assumptions are satisfied. It is the responsibility of the researcher to ensure that assumptions are being satisfied over here. That means normality. The dependent variable should be approximately normally distributed for each combination of the two factors, and that is very much important. That means that the dependent variable, whatever dependent variable that you are selecting, it should be approximately normally distributed, and you can use it by using, you can do this by using the normality plots also. Apart from that, what are the other points that you have to consider? Let's see. Homogeneity of variance. Homogeneity of variance, we have checked the Leven's test of homogeneity error variance. So test using Leven's test. In this particular, in this particular discussion, we have used Leven's test only. So test using Leven's test found in the output under the test of equality of the error variances. That is, if the p-value that is greater than 0.05, our value was greater than 0.05, assumption met, and if it is less than that of 0.0y, you have to be very conscious in the interpretation, which means that your assumptions are not being fully satisfied. That is the interpretation being given over there. Now, independence of observation. So here we can see that the data that you are getting, the data in each group should be independent. That means in order to ensure proper inferences, you should very clearly, very particular about that, the observation should be independent. That means the data in each group should be independent to each other. Our data was also independent. That means it was the test score, gender, and also the teaching method. So the data in each group should be independent so that proper references could be made. Moving on to the next slide, you should also ensure that homogeneity of variance. When you are ensuring homogeneity of variance, once you test the Levin's test and also after independent observation, you should go to specify the model. That means once you specify the model, we can see that you have to keep the main effects of both independent variables. So that means if we are selecting the gender and also the teaching methods as the independent variable, you have to keep the main effects of both independent variables, and that means the interaction effect. Factor A into factor B, that means the interaction effect with respect to the teaching methods and also the gender. See, for example, in our case, you have to keep the interaction effects of both independent variable, and interaction is the most important part of a two-way ANOVA. What is the combined effect or what is the interaction effect, that we have to ensure by using two-way ANOVA. Apart from that, you can choose appropriate post hoc test, isn't it? You can use post hoc test of comparison. For the because of the time constraint, I have not gone for that. So but still you can use the post hoc comparison. If the independent variable has more than two groups, you can go for post hoc comparison, and the main effect for that independent variable is significant. In that case also you can go for the post hoc comparison, and Tukey's test of post hoc comparison is more commonly used for the equal sample sizes. So apart from that, you can also see that the request estimated marginal means, the request estimated marginal means, that means EM. So that should also be taken into consideration. That means you can go for the estimated marginal means, select each main effect and the interaction. So that helps you to give the result more precisely, and that helps you to give the result more clearly. And also interpret the interaction effect first. First you have to give the interpretation of the interaction effect. See, for example, look at the interaction p-value in the test of between subjects effects. So if the interaction is significant, that it is less than 0.05, then you can do simple effect analysis. That means you can go for the comparison of groups within each level. That you can do. You can go for the comparison of the group within each level. Apart from that, do not interpret the main effects independently. Independently, you cannot give the effect of the main effect independently. Apart from that, you can go for simple effects analysis. That means compare groups within each level. And also check the effect size. So SPSS provides the partial, that means eta squared in the output. So here also in our description also we have that particular effect size. That means we know that when the significance level is low, the effect size is high. So add it in the report so that it may give the strength of the effects. So here you can, apart from that, you can also go to examine the profile plots. Once you are going to examine the profile plots, which means that, which we have done right over here, that means you can go to the plots, there will be horizontal axis and all the separate line. So once you are getting the plot, it helps us to visualize the main effects and also the interaction effect. Just like I have explained you, that means the males who have gone through the method of activity, they have given the better performance. So such kind of interaction effect, main effects can be very easily that means visualized with the help of plots. So you can examine the profile plots also over here. And you should ensure balanced sample size if possible. So if possible, it would be better if we ensure balanced sample size. See, for example, two-way ANOVA performs best when sample sizes per group cell are equally or nearly equal. We can say that approximately or almost. If it is equal, then we could give, it would be giving us a better result, or a better performance of two-way ANOVA can be ensured over there. So unequal sizes may reduce the power, and also certain distorted information or interpretation with respect to the interaction effects may be given when there are approximately wider unequal samples. Also, you can carefully report the results, and mainly the report should include the F value, the degrees of freedom, the P value should be included, the interaction effect we have already discussed, the main effect also should be included, post hoc comparison if done. You can include that also, effect size is also there, and there are certain graphs also, that is the interaction plot. So here, apart from the post hoc comparison, we have done almost all others. So by this, I would like to wind off the session, and also requesting you once again, or informing you once again, with respect to all the detailings of two-way ANOVA. What are the steps that you have to consider? What are the points that you have to ponder on before going for the ANOVA? Just like I have said in the last lecture, ANOVA may give you any result, but it is up to your intelligence and your wisdom in which way you are giving you the input. According to the input, SPSS will only give you the output. So the input that you are giving should be according to your objective. So once is that, frame better objectives, go for better parametric or non-parametric test, run SPSS or any other software like R or R Studio, and then take a better interpretation, so that your research output should be much generalizable. You could generalize it in a better way and be a good researcher. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.